So recently we took this Category S Mercedes in as a part exchange, and usually we wouldn't do that as these types of cars tend to be more of a headache than they're worth. But this time someone we knew wanted this as a daily runaround to just use until it died and wasn't worth repairing. If you guys aren't familiar with categorised cars, here's a short summary of what it means. Category A means the car has been crashed and is unfortunately unrepairable. Cat B means the car is unrepairable but parts can be used for other vehicles. Cat S, which is this car, means there is structural damage but it can be repaired. And Category N means no structural damage, and of course it can also be repaired. As you can see from the photos of this car, it looks like something has basically sideswiped it and damaged most of the panels down the side. I couldn't find exactly what structural damage was done, but my best guess would be that something got bent in the front driver's side suspension. I mean, look at that wheel. Oof. Anyway, this C220 diesel is supposedly now fit for the road, so I'm going to drive it and see if I live. My name's Tom and you're watching Paragon Cars. Let's go. We're on Instagram, so if you want to see our latest and greatest stock, daily updates and behind the scenes footage, click the link in the description to follow us now. Now then, this is a Mercedes C220 diesel. That means it's got a 2.1 litre 4-cylinder engine. It puts out 170 horsepower and a healthy 400 Nm of torque. However, this particular car has done 113,850 miles. So let's do the 30 to 70 sprint and see whether it's still got all of those ponies. Well, we managed 7.1 seconds, which is honestly not that bad. However, it is just a tad slower than a slightly fresher Mercedes C220, but honestly the results are negligible. It's only low down in the rev range you feel it just missing a bit of that get up and go, but overall it still seems to be a fairly healthy engine. And that's a good thing, because this is actually missing 40,000 miles worth of service history. Now, before we go for a drive, I just want to point out some interesting quirks I've already noticed. One is that the rear passenger door seems to like closing itself, no matter how far it is open, and the other one is that the paint above the rear door genuinely looks like it's been put on with a paintbrush. Right, let's get on the road and enjoy this starlight headlined cruiser. This thing is absolutely battered. I have to say though, I've already been over some speed bumps and there's no knocking noises coming from the suspension. The engine sounds like a regular C-Class. Steering wheel, when you point it straight, the car actually goes straight. And the thing is, from seeing the damage, I mean it is like pretty much just panel damage. The only thing that worried me was the big scratch on the rim, or the chunk of rim actually missing. Could have done some damage to the suspension, but obviously that's been fixed. The only thing they didn't fix was the paintwork. I mean, it does actually look like someone's used a paintbrush on it. But we're going to do the usual review today, take it around town. Not going to see what it's like to park because it's, you know, it's easy to park. If you want to see a review of another 100,000 mile C-Class that isn't a Cat S, I'll put a link in the top right hand corner for you there. Today's just going to be about whether I can make it back to the dealership in one piece, basically. But yeah, we're going to take it around town, take it on the motorway, see if it still does the 64 miles per gallon that's claimed by Mercedes, see if there's any other noises, and then see if it tries to kill me on a B road. Okay, I've turned the traction control off. Let's reset the trip computer and get this thing into dynamic, or Sport Plus, sorry, for Mercedes. Take control of the gears ourselves. Oh, it seems to drive exactly like you'd expect. Steering feels fine. Not a lot of people seem to like indicating around these roundabouts. Right, let's see. Whee! Still handles well. feels like it's missing a bit of power, although I'm used to driving pretty quick cars at the minute, so maybe it's not. And sounds fine, really. Can't complain about anything there. I've got my Starlight headliner in Sports Plus. I feel special. Right, let's whack it into Eco. Do the arduous task of turning the traction control back on again. I don't know why Mercedes did it like this. You have to go to Home, all the way to Settings, then Assistance, and then ESP, and then on again. Like, could they have not just had a button? Would have been a lot easier, wouldn't it? Anyway, let's see if we can... Jesus Christ, that's a pothole. Anyway, let's see if we can get that 64 mpg figure. Alright, coming onto the motorway in Eco. Low down torque is still okay. No complaints there. Wind noise is still low, road noise is still nice and low. No wobbles coming from the steering wheel as of yet. See if we can get up to 70 here. All very nice. See if the cruise control still works. Yeah, cruise control still works nicely. This is alright. I mean, it's obviously been repaired fairly well. Can't feel any wobbling, any shaking or anything. Coolant is at the right level, and temperature rather. What mpg are we doing? We're only doing 30 miles per gallon at the minute. Hopefully that does go up. Oh, hang on a sec. Is that? No, that's not wobble. It seems alright so far. Anyway, enough babbling. We're going to do about 20 miles on the motorway, and I'll see if I can actually get that 64 mpg figure. See you in a bit. Okay, so sitting at 70 miles an hour, we still managed 54.3 mpg. That's really not that bad. I mean, that WLTP cycle thing, they test cars at 60, so this is pretty much as efficient as it was when it was new, I think. Over 113,000 miles, still going strong, even though it's been beaten within an inch of its life. Talking about beating, actually, let's go do some more and drive on a B road. Okay, back in Sports Plus, traction is off. Let's take control of the gears manually. Whoa. What a lovely noise. See if this still handles like a brand new C-Class. Suspension is good. Whee! Not bad at all. That's how C-Classes handle. A bit boaty, but not actually that boring. I did notice on the motorway there's a little bit of judder coming from the steering wheel. Very minor though. I think that is because there's like a few chunks missing from the wheels, so they just need balancing again. Don't particularly want to do a brake check behind someone. Brakes are fine though, really. Steering's still nice. Okay, that's interesting. Why is it doing that? The indicator has decided it wants to indicate double the amount of times. This is a quirks and features moment. Very interesting. Does it do it the other way as well? No, so it only does it one way. That is so weird. That is so weird. Anyway, let's crack on. gearbox is still really good, and the engine as well. It's just got some interesting things going on. That's all I'll say. If anyone knows why that might be, please let me know in the comments. Right, let's give it one more go. May as well. Foot down. Not quite enough torque to get the back end out there. Look at that, performance is still strong. I don't know if you can see the shaking. It's probably quite hard to tell on camera if I put my arm like here. Nah, it's too hard to see really. It's just not that bad yet. Okay, now we can do a brake test. Worrying! Okay, no, the brakes are good. Definitely feels like it's missing just a little bit of torque low down, I have to say. Once you're above 3,000 though, it does come back alive again. This indicator. Oh yes, zippity bop bop. Nice. Still handles well. I reckon some of these engines might get up well above 200,000 miles, you know, like quite easily. They do seem to just keep on going. Let's go. Come on, reacts. Wee-hee. Still good fun to drive. Honestly, pretty good. Let's take it to a back road now and see what that's like. Let's go. Be precise with the steering. Ah, oh, someone's pulled out in front of us. Let's go for take two. Right, let's give it one more go. Very nice. Suspension, steering, brakes, skid pan, all doing their job nicely. Hey! Oh my goodness. It's not a problem, it's a feature. It's protecting the underside of the car, didn't you know? Right. Launch. Things are pretty fast down B roads. Like, they're really not that bad. Whoa. Still a proper bit of kit. Hard on the brakes. Still smooth. God knows what that noise is. I think that's just some of my stuff. Whoa! Very nice indeed. Still got it. 113,000, well, nearly 114,000 now. Rear right indicator fault. Yes, I wonder why that might be. Okay, the brakes are getting a bit hot. Jesus. Okay, we're not stopping for some reason. And on that note, I will conclude the review, I think. I think the brake fluid's gotten a little bit hot and could probably do with changing. Anyway, conclusion time. So yes, there are some, what I would call, quirks with this thing. However, given an alignment, a proper service, a clean, and I think you've got a pretty decent bargain on your hands. Still driving absolutely fine, everything works. And yeah, I mean, it just seems like a lot of car for the money still. I think the only caveat with cars like these is that you have to do your research before you buy them. Get to know exactly what was damaged, find some photos if you can, then find out to what standard it was repaired, as that is very important as well. And if you're comfortable with that, I think there's some proper bargains to be had out there, honestly. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this slightly different style of video. If you did, give it a like, and why not subscribe? As not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale. My name's Tom, and you've been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.